Chapter 22. The Weight of Reunion. The sky split open with a sound like silk tearing. Elara stood at the edge of the memory stone field, breath caught somewhere between hope and dread, as three skycraft descended through the pale haze, their hulls gleaming with familiar gold filigree, sails woven from captured sunlight. Aethelgard. Home. For a moment, the ache in her chest softened. She could almost smell the warm air of the upper terraces, hear the distant chimes that rang at dawn. Then she felt the tether pulse against her wrist, steady, grounding, and the memory of the map's glowing lines flickered in her mind. Kaelen stepped slightly behind her, not hiding, but giving her the space to face them first. "Do they know I'm with you?" he asked quietly. Elara swallowed. "If they didn't before, they will." The skycraft hovered just above the stone, their engines humming with contained radiance. A narrow gangway extended from the lead vessel, touching down with a soft, precise click. Figures emerged, armored in pale glass plate, cloaks trailing like streams of light. At their head walked a woman Elara knew instantly. Commander Cerys. Tall, composed, her silver hair bound in a tight braid, eyes sharp as cut crystal. She had overseen half of Elara's early training and had been among the first to sign the decree that stripped her of rank. "Elara," Cerys said, voice carrying effortlessly across the open field. Not warmth, not hostility. Assessment. Elara stepped forward. "Commander." Cerys's gaze flicked briefly to the tether, then past Elara, landing on Kaelen. The air tightened. "So," Cerys said, calm as still water, "the Shadow King is real." Kaelen inclined his head slightly. "And the sky still sends soldiers instead of answers." Several guards shifted at his tone, hands tightening on their light-forged spears. Elara stepped between them instinctively. "He's not your enemy," she said. Cerys's eyebrow raised. "You've been gone 21 days. "Long enough," Elara replied. Cerys approached slowly, boots whispering against the stone. "Your signal was received. We came as soon as we could." Elara hesitated. "My signal?" Cerys studied her. "The resonance spike 3 nights ago. It matched your light gilding signature." Elara's mind flashed back. The surge of power when she stabilized the crystal bridge, the flare she had barely contained. "I didn't mean to call anyone," she said softly. "Intent rarely matters," Cerys replied. Her gaze sharpened. "We're here to bring you home." The words landed heavily. Elara felt the pull, familiar, comforting, like gravity after too long adrift. But then she thought of the visions in the observatory, the threads draining downward, the darkening world below. "I can't," she said. Murmurs rippled among the guards. Cerys's expression did not change. "You misunderstand. This is not a request." Elara lifted her chin. "Then you misunderstand me." Silence stretched. Cerys's eyes flicked again to the tether. "That artifact is unstable. We can sever it safely aboard the vessel." Kaelen's voice was quiet. "You cannot." Cerys ignored him. "Once removed, we will deal with local complications." Elara's stomach tightened. "What does that mean?" Cerys met her gaze. "Containment." Elara felt a chill. "You mean destruction," she said. "If necessary," Cerys replied. Elara stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Commander, the city is draining this world. Light gilding isn't just solar energy. It's connected. I've seen it." Cerys watched her steadily. "Yes," she said. The single word hit like a blow. Elara blinked. "You knew?" For some time, Sarah said calmly. Rage flared. And no one thought that was worth mentioning? Sarah's tone remained even. The stability of Aethelgard depends on controlled extraction. Extraction of life, Elara snapped. Of ambient energy, Sarah corrected, necessary for survival. Alara's hands trembled. At what cost? Sarah's gaze hardened slightly. At the cost required. Kaelen stepped forward, shadows gathering subtly around him, not threatening, but present. You see now, he said softly to Elara, why I warned you. Sarah's eyes narrowed. You will remain silent. Kaelen met her gaze. No. The guards raised their spears. Elara moved quickly, raising her hands. Stop! Light flared instinctively around her fingers, not as a weapon, but as a barrier. No fighting, not here. Sarah studied her for a long moment. You've changed, she said. Elara exhaled slowly. I've learned. Sarah glanced at the distant landscape. This world is unstable. If its collapse prevents the fall of the city, then that is the logical outcome. Elara stared at her. You're talking about sacrificing millions. Sarah's voice softened, not with kindness, but with certainty. I am talking about preserving billions. The weight of the moment pressed down like gravity. Elara looked at Kaelen, at the quiet steadiness in his eyes, then back at the skycraft gleaming behind Sarah's. Two worlds, both fragile, both convinced of their righteousness. Her heart ached. There has to be another way, she said. Sarah shook her head slightly. Idealism is a luxury of those not responsible for entire civilizations. The tether pulsed again, stronger this time. Elara winced slightly. Sarah noticed. You see, it's destabilizing. Kaelen's expression darkened. No, it's reacting. To what? Elara asked. He looked toward the glowing lines of the map beneath them. To imbalance increasing. A low rumble rolled across the plains. Far in the distance, the ground shifted, a subtle ripple like a breath drawn too sharply. Even the skycraft engines flickered briefly. Sarah's composure faltered, just a fraction. What was that? She demanded. Kaelen's voice was grave. The world warning us. Sarah turned back to Elara. You have a choice, she said. Come willingly or be taken. Elara felt something settle inside her. Not certainty, but resolve. She shook her head. I'm not leaving, she said quietly. A murmur of shock rippled through the guards. Sarah studied her, long and hard. Then you are no longer under the protection of Aethelgard, she said. Elara met her gaze. Maybe I never was. Sarah turned to her soldiers. Prepare retrieval protocols, she ordered. Light flared as devices activated along the gangway. Kaelen stepped beside Elara. Stay behind me, he murmured. She shook her head. We stand together. For a brief moment, something like warmth flickered in his eyes. Above them, the sky darkened slightly, clouds gathering where none had been before. The tether glowed brighter, the map beneath them flickered wildly, and somewhere deep below, something ancient stirred.